A distinctive, rather large duck that is common in wetlands, lakes, bogs, slow-moving rivers, and along seacoasts. Sexes look alike, grayish-brown overall with bold pale dappling on sides of body, a darker face, and a short bushy crest, often hard to see. Bill and legs dark gray. In flight, note the big white panel on the trailing edge of the wing, similar to flying steamer duck, which is heavier bodied and is rarely seen in flight. Eyes typically reddish in Patagonia and orangish in northern Andes. Small, fairly common duck, brownish at rest with a dark face, but striking in flight with a white inner wing panel contrasting with an iridescent dark green outer wing. Males have an orange bill, blue-gray in females. Encountered on lakes, ponds, rivers, marshy areas, and occasionally in more saline waters. A handsome, generally uncommon, and rather shy duck of quiet vegetated lakes, forested rivers, and marshy wetlands. No similar species in range, usually found in pairs or family groups, sometimes associating with other ducks but is often slightly separate. Sexes look alike with a bold white face patch, spectacle, a white collar, and orange legs. The large purplish or bronzy wing panel is often hidden when swimming. An old name for this bird was bronze-winged duck. A large and flightless, grayish, heavy-set duck. Adult males have a bright orange bill. In females and juveniles, the bill is olive green, very similar to flying steamer duck, and not easily identified. Look for shorter, stunted wings and tail and thicker neck and bill. Found along the coast, where it favors small rocky islands, as well as sheltered inlets and bays. Also inhabits coastal ponds, but doesn't venture farther inland, unlike flying steamer duck. A large heavily built duck that is uncommon to fairly common along rocky seacoasts, not found on lakes. Unlike flying steamer duck, both sexes are steely blue-gray overall, brighter than flying steamer duck, with a stouter and deeper based bill. The bill of both male and female is bright orange in the southern parts of its range, but is orange with a greenish distal patch around Angelo Island, likely a different species. The bill of juvenile birds is duller grayish to dull yellowish, attains adult color by winter. A large, heavily built duck that is fairly common along rocky seacoasts and on lakes near the coast, also local and uncommon on larger lakes farther inland. Despite the name, rarely seen in flight, more often seen thrashing through the water like an old paddle steamer boat, hence the name. Male's bill is mostly orange, while the female's bill is mostly greenish. Plumage of both sexes is duller gray or brownish gray compared to flightless steamer duck. The two species sometimes occur together, but flightless tends to be warier. Large, flightless sea duck of the coast of Chubut and Santa Cruz provinces of southeast Argentina, from flying steamer duck by white-headed, palehead, large size, and massive bill, spends most of time near shore foraging for mollusks and crustaceans by diving, often in small groups, sometimes mixed with smaller flying steamer duck. Males is exquisitely patterned, with an unmistakable green and yellow facial pattern, spotted rose-pink breast, and long, drooping scapulars. Female mostly drab-brown but with a distinct white spot near the bill base as well as a very weak hint of the male's facial pattern. Breeds in marshy woods and on the tundra. During the non-breeding season, gathers in groups of up to several thousand in marshes and estuaries in northeastern Asia, generally uncommon outside poor wintering grounds. Small and often rather unobtrusive duck of wetlands, with reedy and other fringing vegetation. Handsome male distinctive, with big white eyebrow on dark brown head, pale gray flanks, pale gray furring striking in flight. Female very similar to female green-winged teal, but head pattern more contrasting, with paler eyebrow, darker eye stripe, and unstreaked whitish throat. Breeds widely across Eurasia, winters in Africa and southern Asia. Migrants can be on more open water, even tidal mudflats. Associates readily with other ducks, feeds mainly by dabbling. Small brownish duck with a blue bill, dark cap, and a dark smudge on the pale tan cheek. In flight, look for white, black, and green stripes on the wing. Found on freshwater wetlands, lakes, and rice paddies, at low to moderate elevations. Combination of small size, blue bill, and cheek marking separate it from all other ducks and grebes. Handsome and distinctive dabbling duck of the high Andes. Note the black cap, bright pale creamy cheeks, and powder blue bill. Like most South American dabbling ducks, but unlike most Northern Hemisphere species, sexes look similar year-round, although male on average is brighter and more boldly patterned. Often fairly common on bogs, lakes, and other wetlands, especially with reeds and other emergent vegetation. The smaller and duller silver teal occurs in lowlands, not the high Andes. Distinctive, but rather local and uncommon in Chile, more common in Argentina and elsewhere, in grassy wetlands, reedy marshes, and on lakes. Associates with other waterfowl, but usually is not out on open water and is easily overlooked. Readily identified by small size, dark cap, pale cheeks, and blue bill with yellow patch at base. Range does not overlap with the larger and more boldly patterned Puna teal. Distinctive dabbling duck, combination of very large, slightly shovel-shaped black bill, and in pale blue furring patches, brighter on male. Identify all plumages. Male has a pale gray head with pale yellow eyes, and a red body with black spots. Female is mottled brown overall, but note white sides to pointed tail, big black bill. Fairly common in wetlands and at lakes, river mouths, and sewage lagoons. Unlike many dabbling ducks, often rather quiet. Small duck with chalky blue patches on the upper wing, visible in flight. Breeding males unmistakable with bold white crescent, in front of eye and polka-dotted sides. Females are cold brown overall and intricately patterned. Look for a hint of a pale crescent on the face, as well as a dark eye line and pale eye arcs, usually found in shallow wetlands or marshes, where it can occur in pairs or flocks, sometimes mixed with other species of ducks. Compare with other teal species. Female cinnamon teal is warmer toned overall, and has a duller face pattern, while female green-winged teal is more compact, darker, and has a different wing pattern in flight. Small duck with khaki blue patches on the upper wing, visible in flight. Breeding males unmistakable with rich reddish-brown color overall. Females are buffy brownish overall and intricately patterned. Look for rather plain face and longer, more spatulate-shaped bill than blue-winged teal. Widespread and fairly common throughout western North America and South America, as far south as Tierra del Fuego. Usually found in shallow wetlands or marshes, where it can occur in pairs or flocks, sometimes mixed with other species of ducks. A large, elongated, speckled, brown duck with a distinctive and extended spatula-shaped black bill. In flight the sky blue frilling is distinctive. No other regularly occurring duck species shares this feature. Male has a gray head, yellow eye, and yellow-orange feet. Female has a rusty brown head, dark eye, and gray-yellow feet. Within its range, the northern shoveler is an extremely rare vagrant, and it differs from Cape shoveler by the following features. Male in breeding plumage has a green head and chestnut belly. Female and juvenile are in general paler and more warmly colored, but some individuals may be inseparable from female Cape shoveler. Medium-sized duck, smaller than a mallard, huge, spoon-shaped bill visible at a distance and in flight. Breeding males have dark green head, white breast, and chestnut sides and belly. Females buffy brown with large, distinctive bill, khaki blue upper wing. Forages by sifting through the water, often swimming in spirals and groups. floats low in the water with an enormous, shovel-like bill. Males are more brightly colored and have yellow eyes. Females are plainer brown with darker eyes. Note obvious bright orange legs. When scanning a row of perch ducks, feeds on the surface with head submerged, usually found in large inland wetlands and sewage ponds. Fairly large duck with extensive range across northern hemisphere. Males are mostly gray with a black rear end and puffy head. Also look for small white wing patch in flight. Females are similar to mallard, but note thinner bill, plainer face, orange line along the edge of the bill, and white wing patch in flight, typically found in pairs or small flocks in shallow wetlands, ponds, or bays, sometimes mixed with other species of ducks. An East Asian teal-like duck, males are distinctive, with an iridescent head that flashes green and copper, a silvery body with distinct scalloping, extremely long curved tuschles, long pale scapulars, and a triangular white throat patch outlined in dark green. Brownish females resemble female gadwall but have a dark bill. Breeds in northern interior marshes and winters on rivers, lakes, and coastal wetlands, often in flocks with other ducks. Breeding males are beautiful and distinctive with rich reddish-brown head, buffy forehead, curly gray body, and pinkish breast. Look for large white wing patches in flight. Females are plain or warm brown overall, with a small pale bill. Very difficult to distinguish from female American widgeon. Note warmer brown head on Eurasian with little contrast between head, breast, and sides. Also look for dirty grayish, not bright white, underwings in flight, but this can be difficult to judge, especially at a distance. Widespread and common in Eurasia, breeding at northern latitudes and wintering south to Central Africa and Southeast Asia, typically in flocks on lakes and wetlands, often grazing in nearby fields. Regular winter visitor to North America, especially on the west coast, usually in very small numbers among flocks of American widgeon. Breeding males have obvious white blaze on forehead and broad green/behind eye. Females are plain or brown with rusty sides. Females are very difficult to distinguish from female Eurasian widgeon. Note colder grayish-brown head on American that contrasts with warmer orangey sides. Also look for brighter white, not gray, underwings in flight, but this can be difficult to judge, especially at a distance. Widespread and common in North America, occasionally wintering as far south as northern South America, typically in flocks on lakes and wetlands, often grazing in nearby fields. Regular vagrant to Europe. Handsome and distinctive duck. Sexes look similar, but male averages brighter. Note the striking face pattern, duller on young and on adults in late summer, bright rusty sides, and bold white fruing patches that show in flight. Often common in wetlands, marshes, at lakes, and along river mouths. Associates readily with other waterfowl, but more often seen on shore, grazing in grassy areas. A chocolate brown duck with unmarked underparts, a pale pink and black bill, orange legs, and white spots on the back and rump. A secretive and uncommon resident, preferring well-wooded, fast-flowing rivers but also visiting ponds. It forages mainly at dawn and dusk, dabbling for insects and plant matter, differentiated from the similar yellow-billed duck by darker coloration, shorter neck, and dark, not vivid yellow, bill. A brown duck with a vividly yellow bill, and white scalloping on the feathers, giving it a scally appearance, especially on the underparts. A common resident and nomad through Africa's freshwater and brackish wetlands, where it forages for plants and invertebrates. The similar African black duck differs from yellow-billed duck by being darker overall and having white spots on the upper parts, a bull neck, and a pale pink and black bill. Large brown duck that is endemic to eastern Madagascar. Its plain brown plumage, blue-gray bill, and large size distinguish it from all other ducks in Madagascar. In flight, look for green and white stripes in the wing. Found mostly at middle elevations, on lakes, streams, rivers, and freshwater wetlands that are usually within or adjacent to rainforest. Rare and endangered. Large brown duck with distinctive pale orange face, dark crown, and partial dark eye line. Uses a wide range of lowland freshwater and brackish wetland habitats, including marshes, ponds, river banks, and mangroves. No similar large ducks regularly occur in its range, usually in small flocks, but may join wintering flocks of widgeons, shovelers, or other dabbling ducks. Mottled brown dabbling duck with distinctive striped head pattern. Note purple, green metallic panel on wing and slightly domed head. Common throughout range, often found on or beside ponds, wetlands, and rivers. Hybridizes with mallard, similar to female mallard, but note Pacific black duck's darker coloration, and distinctive striped cream head with gray bill, darker legs and feet. Also look for green speculum with black border in flight. Highly range-restricted duck with a splotchy white comma around each eye, found only on the Midway Islands, where it is the only resident duck. Forages on sand flats and small saline ponds, and lakes on the islands, frequently consuming brine flies, capable of flight, but typically only traverses short distances within islands. Gives various nasal and grating quacks. A medium-sized duck, similar to female mallard in appearance, but smaller and darker. Males lack the green head and curled black tail feathers of male mallards. Both sexes have spotted tail feathers. The bill is dark greenish with an orange tip in some females. Pure Hawaiian ducks occur only on Kauai and montane streams, and ponds on Hawaii Island. Most or all individuals on other islands or mallard Hawaiian duck hybrids. Occurs in ponds, marshes, taro fields, and streams. A large grayish-brown duck with a diagnostic yellow-tipped black bill, and a red spot at the base of the bill, missing in certain subspecies. In flight, note the green panel, in the wing that is bordered in white, often seen in small groups dabbling or tipping up in shallow water, or walking on marshy land at the edge of freshwater lakes or in cultivated fields, usually not seen associating with other species, similar to eastern spot-billed duck, but note green wing panel, lack of a distinct dark, mustache, and overall warmer tan coloration. A large duck, generally common and familiar within its extensive range. Males are distinctive with iridescent green head, yellow bill, chestnut breast, and gray body. Females are mottled brown with orange and black splotches on the bill, found anywhere with water, including city parks, backyard creeks, and various wetland habitats, often in flocks, and frequently mixes with other duck species. In North America, females can be tricky to distinguish from American black duck, mottled duck, and Mexican duck where ranges overlap. Those species are all darker bodied than mallard. A good view of the wing can be helpful too. White-winged is on the leading and trailing edges of the blue wing patch or boulder on mallard. Frequently hybridizes with those species, which can be even more confusing. Any bird with extensive white in the tail, or curled feathers above the tail has some mallard genes. Common large duck of lakes, ponds, wet fields, and estuaries. Dark brown overall, with a pale head marked by a whitish eyebrow, and 2 black stripes on the face. Namesake yellow bill spot is visible even from a good distance. White underwings contrast strongly with dark body and flight, highly adaptable and quite tame, foraging in city parks, and small ponds close to human settlements. A large duck, nearly identical to mallard in size and shape but with a much darker chocolate-colored body. Bill is yellow with a slight greenish tinge on males, dull grayish-green on females. Note blue wing patch lacks any white borders. Fairly common in northeastern North America, especially along the coast. Large flocks can gather in the winter in salt marshes and estuaries, but also occurs in smaller numbers on ponds and lakes, often mixed with other duck species. Frequently hybridizes with mallard. Hybrids usually look darker than typical mallards, and may have an intermediate head pattern. Also look for white in the tail, or curled feathers above the tail to indicate mallard genes. Both sexes look like a dark-colored female mallard. Bill of male is dull yellowish. Bill of female is mottled orange and black, like a typical mallard. In flight, bright white underwings contrast with dark body. Note distinct white stripe in front of iridescent panel on upper wing. Compared to mottled duck, limited range overlap, usually in pairs or small flocks, wary in most areas. But in some city parks and urban settings has become fairly tame. In some areas of SW, US, hybridizes with mallard, producing birds with variably intermediate features. Dark-bodied with a creamy face, about the same size as mallard. Overall color is darker than female mallards, and paler than American black duck. White bars in wing are very narrow, and may not be noticeable. Males have bright yellow bill, females have duller olive bill. Inhabits wetlands of Florida and coastal areas from Louisiana to Mexico. Tiny duck with a petite, thin bill. Males have a brown head with a wide green swatch behind the eye, creamy speckled breast, and mostly gray body. Females are brown, darker overall than other dabbling ducks. Forages by dabbling, and tipping up to reach submerged aquatic vegetation. Also regularly walks around mud flats to feed. Tiny duck with a petite, thin bill. Males have a brown head with a wide green swatch behind the eye, creamy speckled breast, and mostly gray body. Females are brown, darker overall than other dabbling ducks. Forages by dabbling and tipping up to reach submerged aquatic vegetation. Also regularly walks around mud flats to feed. Small duck found in high elevation lakes and wetlands from Venezuela to southern Ecuador. Dark grayish-brown overall with spotted breast and fine vermiculations on head. Dark gray bill. Sex is similar, usually uncommon, not as numerous as its southern counterpart, yellow-billed teal. Typically seen in pairs or small groups. Widespread and often common small duck of wetlands, lakes, river mouths, Andean bogs, and streams. Rather small and compact with a dark head, a bright yellow bill, duller for a short while, on young birds, and plain grayish sides. The similar yellow-billed pintail is larger and more elegant with a paler head and mottled sides. Teal populations in the high Andes, Altiplano teal, have noticeably paler gray sides than southern lowlands birds, austral teal. Medium-sized, pale gray duck with a pink bill. In flight, shows a green patch that is surrounded by white. Prefers saltwater wetlands such as natural salt pans and man-made saltworks, but sometimes also uses freshwater wetlands, similar to red-billed duck, but without a dark cap, and with paler overall coloration. Pink bill separates Cape teal from all other ducks and grebes in the region. This small duck has a solidly chocolate brown skull cap, white cheeks, and a distinctive pink-red bill with a dark saddle. In flight, the buff flight feathers with a black stripe are distinctive on otherwise all brown wings. It prefers foraging on open fresh water, with seeds and plant matter forming the majority of its diet. The similar blue-billed teal differs from red-billed duck by being smaller, and having a silvery blue bill, and dark smudges on the cheeks. Cape teal and Bernier's teal, the latter endemic to Madagascar, both lack the strongly contrasting face pattern of red-billed duck. Very distinctive duck with its white cheeks, throat, and tail contrasting with its brown body. The bill is dark with red sides at the base. In flight shows pale brown, and green patches on the wings, both sexes similar, found in both fresh and saline wetlands. Handsome and generally common dabbling duck of wetlands, lakes, and river mouse. Sexes look alike with a bright yellow bill, duller for a short while. On young birds, a plain and rather soft-faced, brown head, and dark mottled sides. Also note its elegant shape with a slender neck and long pointed tail. Yellow-billed teal look somewhat similar, and often occurs in same areas, but yellow-billed teal are smaller, and more compact with a darker head and plain grayish sides. Elegant, slender duck with long neck and tail. Males have a chocolate brown head with a white slash coming up the neck, white breast, and mostly gray body. Females are patterned light brown, forages in wetlands and in fields on agricultural waste grains. A small, mostly cinnamon-colored duck with dark brown cheek spot and a bluish bill with dark central ridge. Males have elongated central tail feathers and a green wing panel that is visible in flight, mostly found on inland fresh water sources including lakes, streams and bogs. In winter forms coastal flocks of up to 200. Eaton's pintail is easily separated from the only other duck in its range, mallard, by its much smaller size and its plain cinnamon appearance. Male is very distinctively marked with a metallic green head and rich chestnut flanks, but the female is a plain gray duck with a rounded crown. Female distinguished from gray teal by slightly darker neck, throat. White wing panels are distinctive in flight compared to purple, green of Pacific black duck. A small brown duck with a pale throat and scalloped plumage. The face is sometimes all white, but always has a white eye ring. In flight, there is a white panel on the upper wing and white armpits on the underwing. Quite gregarious, gathering in marshy water bodies, nests in tree holes. Small, dull, brown duck with ruby red eyes. Also note rounded forehead with noticeable bulge, and bright green and white wing patches. Found in freshwater, brackish, and occasionally marine habitats. Forages primarily by dabbling. Typically moves in pairs or small groups. Plain grayish mottled duck with a rounded crown. Note plain face lacking the bold stripes of Pacific black duck. White wing panels are distinctive in flight compared to purple, green of Pacific black duck. Told from female chestnut teal by the much paler neck, throat. One of the most common ducks in many waterways, forming enormous flocks numbering in the 1000s. A small brown duck with a long bill and tail. In flight, look for a green stripe, between two white stripes on the wing, usually found in saltwater or brackish wetlands, especially on mudflats and in mangrove. Has the odd habit of dabbling on mudflats, usually in pairs, sometimes found in shallow freshwater wetlands. Rare, endangered, and very local in western Madagascar. Similar in size to red-billed duck and blue-billed teal, but Bernier's teal has a pale cap and a pale pink rather than red or blue bill. Largest of the three endemic New Zealand teal species, both sexes are primarily dark brown in color. Male in breeding plumage has green iridescence on head. Females and juveniles are a duller dark mottled brown. Both sexes show conspicuous white ring around a dark brown eye. Mostly restricted to northern North Island, Northland, Great Barrier Island, and Coromandel Peninsula. Successfully bred in captivity for reintroduction efforts across the country in predator-controlled areas. Crepuscular to nocturnal, favoring margins of small streams with overhanging vegetation, and even stock ponds for feeding and breeding. Distinguished from similar-looking gray teal and vagrant chestnut teal by lack of red eye and lack of obvious white patches on the upper ring. Small, flightless dark brown duck, endemic to New Zealand. Males have green iridescence on head, dark chestnut-colored breast, and lightly barred flanks. Females are uniformly dark brown. Both sexes have distinct white eye ring. Confined to the Auckland Islands, where it occurs on all major islands except the main Auckland Island. Found on sheltered shorelines rummaging through wind-blown kelp piles. Also found on streams with adequate cover of tussock and sedges. Males give a soft trill as an alarm or territorial call. Females give a growl and a rapid quack. Distinguished from other New Zealand endemic teal species by location and light barring on sides. The smallest of the three endemic New Zealand teal species. Small, flightless dark brown duck. Males have green iridescence on head and dark chestnut-colored breast. Females are uniformly dark brown. Both sexes show bold white eye ring. More secretive than the closely related Auckland Islands teal, most often found on the shoreline foraging through piles of seaweed or rocks. Also can be found on peaty streams, or in wetland pools with adequate cover from sedges and tussock. Confined to Campbell Islands other than an introduction on Codfish Island, where a small population remains. Males give a soft trill as an alarm or territorial call. Females give a growl and a rapid quack. Distinguished from other New Zealand endemic teal species by location and more prominent white eye ring.